Hey, how's it going tonight? Well, hope all you guys and gals had an amazing day out there. I did the best that I could, it was a good day. So yeah, just last few days I've been talking about, what you really are, who we all are. And it's an interesting one. I like to think about those things, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, it's just where, I'm at with a lot of things. And I trust and having a lot of trust and faith in things. Um, and knowing your own truths. Because the truth always sets you free. Just remember that. The truth always sets you free. You make up a web of lies, you're going to get caught in your own lies. That's just how it happens. So, with that being said, some days you just have to find your own truths. And so, with that, like, there are also universal truths. And some of those universal truths I've been talking about, that we are all consciousness, but there's also like the hermetic laws, right? Um, if you guys ever read like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth or Thoth, things like that, it's something to look into, lots of these masters of, like ascension, as some say, and stuff like Neville Goddard and stuff, that Florence Scovel Shinn that I talked about before, people like that, there's a lady, Elizabeth Town, that's even, 1800s type things. They all kind of understood those teachings. And, it's where all the mystics learn, and, things like the law of correspondence, um, the law of attraction, the law of assumption, all those sorts of things. So then, along those lines, if it's something you'd be interested in, just kind of look it up yourself. This stuff I've been looking at for years and years, and it's always been interesting to me. And, putting a lot of it into practice takes exactly that practice. It's getting this thing here to kind of stop, like learning how to kind of flatline that chatter some days. So it's it can be difficult for sure, and but it's a lot of the times it's grounding, it's resetting yourself, it's finding like your 0 point, so to say. No matter if you have people coming at you or whatever and things like that, you still have to be able to find your own calm, find your own center, because if you run off emotions, you're not giving your best self, a lot of times. So like you have to be able to ground.